Got a game here between the Portland Trail Blazers and San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio up by 7 with 4:15 left in the game and trying to make it a 2-0 series. Got Scoot Henderson with the ball. Maybe have an on-ball screen set by Toumani Camara or just an entry pass to the wing. It's going to be an entry pass. Scoot might just fade to this corner here, and Toumani's going to pass it to Robert Williams, who is in the game instead of Donovan Clingan. So that's a pretty interesting move for the Portland Trail Blazers. And maybe Robert Williams will do something. Maybe there's an action between Avdia and Drew Holiday on the left side of the court. Maybe Camara comes off of Robert Williams, the third, for a handoff. Let's see. Yeah. So Drew Holiday is going to set a pin down for Denny to curl off of this handoff. Turns into an on-ball screen, and let's take a look at what the coverage is. So Stephon Castle is going to go over this off-ball screen, and then he's kind of late to the handoff because he's behind Robert Williams, and I don't know if he's going to go under Robert Williams here or over. Luke Cornett's in drop coverage. Champagne's kind of stunting at the ball, so if Dia might give this up to Toumani for a catch-and-shoot three. Not the greatest pass, but it's still a pretty good look, and Toumani's going to get that to go. So pretty good read there from Denny Avdia. Castle's going to bring up the ball now. We got Drew Holiday on him. Entry pass into Luke Cornett. Maybe we have something going on the right side of the court here. Castle going to clear out. Now we have a handoff between Luke Cornett and Devin Vassell. Denny's going to go over that. Scoot's going to stunt at the ball. We see Robert Williams playing drop coverage. Devin Vassell is going to pick up this ball. Pretty good defense from Denny Avdia here. Or sorry, he's not going to pick up the ball. He's going to back down Denny. Go for a fadeaway. Don't love the look, but still gets it to go. Nice shot there from Devin Vassell. Then we got Castle on Denny Avdia. And maybe a ghost screen kind of set right there by Drew Holiday. He's going to attack Champagnie one-on-one. Vassell's going to stunt at the ball from the strong side. And this is pretty good defense. Pretty good help here from Luke Cornett. This might be a pass to Robert Williams for a floater, which is probably what I would do in this situation if I were Drew Holiday. Exactly what happens, and Robert Williams gets that to go. Then we got a timeout for the Spurs. Castle's going to make this entry pass into Luke Cornett. Going to use him as a passing hub maybe. He's going to hand this off to Devin Vassell. I like the defense from Denny Avdia there. Denny's going to go over the screen, and Robert Williams is going to play in drop coverage. Vassell has Denny on his hip. He's going to get to his spot. Another fadeaway jumper for Devin Vassell. That time is no good. Portland's going to push the pace here. Kamara's going to give it back to Drew Holiday for an on-ball screen. Gets the switch. So now Champagnie is guarding him. Drew Holiday is going to try for the step back three. Doesn't really get a clean look at it. He sees Camara is cutting towards the rim, but there's really not a truly open passing lane. So it's going to result in a turnover. Camara and Vassell both jump at the ball on the floor, and it's going to be a jump ball between the two. And we have, it's not a legal jump ball. So I think we are going to have to redo that. I'm pretty sure the rule is that you can't, catch the ball when you are doing a jump ball. Like, you have to tip it out in the air. Actually, I don't know if it has to be in the air, but I know for a fact you can't just catch the ball off of a jump ball. But we're going to do this one again. Maybe Mitch Johnson is saying it should be a turnover and that Spurs should have possession, which could be true. I don't know the exact ruling on that. But Portland's going to win it. Ball in the hands of Robert Williams. Going to give it to Camara. Now we're giving it to Scoot Henderson on the wing. He's isolating against De'Aaron Fox. So two guys with tremendous speed here. Good defense by De'Aaron Fox. Oh, Fox isn't really... He kind of uses his hands a little bit there. Initially, I thought that was good defense. Looks like Portland may be in the bonus. Or no, I don't think they're in the bonus. Miss Johnson, I think, still might be a little upset at the call the referees went with the jump ball call. We have Denny receiving an off-ball screen by Toumani Camara on the opposite wing on the weak side. Now we might have a switch that the Blazers might want to go to. Scoot might want Champagnie to be the one guarding him instead of De'Aaron Fox, or maybe interesting. So Denny is going to screen Champagnie and not De'Aaron Fox. So De'Aaron Fox is going to go under this. Scoot Henderson says, hey, this is enough space for me. I'm going to pull it. And he gets that one to go. So Denny doesn't really even screen De'Aaron Fox there. He kind of just screens his own man, and it works as an on-ball screen. Entry pass for De'Aaron Fox to Luke Cornett. Devin Vassell may be trying to set an off-ball screen for him, maybe to get Denny on Fox instead of having Toumani guarding him. But Toumani's going to stick with it. However, we got a handoff. De'Aaron Fox is going to use his speed. Going towards the rim, we have Robert Williams in drop coverage. And if you are Jrue Holiday here, I don't really think you need to help that much off of this. This is an easy read for De'Aaron Fox to make. I think Castle just needs to be ready a little bit more there. I think he's a little too patient. Not that he has to rush the shot, but I think he can get this off a little quicker. Instead, he gives Jrue Holiday enough time to recover and block his shot. So now we got the Blazers in transition. Jrue Holiday is going to give this to Robert Williams under the rim. Luke Cornett's going to be there. Robert Williams just going to give this back to Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday handoff to Scoot in the corner. See what Scoot does. He's going to drive to the rim. And yeah, I mean, Luke Cornett should be the one in help here. De'Aaron Fox has to be in the middle of Robert Williams and Toumani Camara. So I don't know. I think obviously Robert Williams has developed a three-point shot. He used to not be able to shoot them at all, but he's become much more capable as a three-point shooter. I wouldn't say he's a good or an elite three-point shooter, but he's proven that he can make them from time to time. So this might be a shot that the Spurs live with, and I'm completely okay with that. But if you are trying to contest the jump shooter, this is De'Aaron Fox's responsibility because Luke Cornett has to help at the rim there. Robert Williams going to get a really good look at three, and that's why they are comfortable leaving him open. Unfortunately, who is it? Jrue Holiday just makes kind of a veteran play here, and Vassell does not do a good job boxing out. Holiday's just going to get an easy putback to go. So that is completely on Vassell there, and the Blazers are going to take a 1-point lead. Haven't really liked San Antonio's offense, and the Blazers are honestly taking advantage of empty San Antonio Spurs offensive possessions. And obviously, I haven't even talked about it yet, but Wemby went out of the game with a concussion earlier on in this one. So that's definitely impacting the Spurs offense here. We're going to attack this again. So the same thing, entry pass into Cornett. Devin Vassell going to set an off-ball screen so that this time Stephon Castle is going to be the one receiving the ball off the handoff. And either he's going to try to force the Blazers to make a switch between Denny and Jeremy Grant, or he's just going to try to make it more difficult. Jrue Holiday. He's going to try to make it more difficult for Jrue Holiday to get through this screen. So, yes, Blazers are going to switch it this time. I don't think it looks like the Spurs are going to be going to this handoff anymore. So now we're just going to do it on the other side for, let's see, who is that? De'Aaron Fox. So yeah, Stephon Castle. Blazers going to switch this. Stephon Castle's going to set a off-ball screen, a pin down for De'Aaron Fox in the corner, and then instead we're going to have De'Aaron Fox coming off of this Luke Cornett handoff. Denny's going to just be trailing De'Aaron, and because of Toumani's length, De'Aaron maybe wanted to look at a step-back three there, but he's just not able to get it off because Toumani's there at the end of the day. So he's going to have to give this ball up to Devin Vassell on the wing. Jrue Holiday with a nice closeout. Now passing it back to De'Aaron Fox for kind of a grenade here. Has to make something out of nothing against a really elite defensive player in Toumani Camara. And if I'm Jrue Holiday, honestly, I'm doubling here. Just make life even more hell for De'Aaron Fox. Put two extremely, extremely good defenders on De'Aaron Fox with only 4.5 seconds left on the shot clock when you're that far away from the basket and even the three-point line. He's not really that close to the three-point line. And then if Jrue Holiday doubles and you do decide to pass this to Devin Vassell, Scoot can pick him up. De'Aaron Fox tries to go away from Jrue Holiday. Doesn't work against Toumani. He's going to have to go for the step back. Not a good look. Front iron, and the ball is going to stay with the Spurs. Just Portland cannot get the defensive rebound, but a really good defensive possession from Portland and excellent defense from Toumani Camara. So yeah, that ball does go off of Drew Holiday. So now we got 11 seconds left on the shot clock for the San Antonio Spurs. Toumani Camara is going to pick up on De'Aaron Fox, have an on-ball screen set by Luke Cornett. And we're going to go back to Luke Cornett. He's going to keep handing this ball off. And honestly, if I'm the Blazers, I'm probably pretty aware of what the Spurs are trying to do at this point. I mean, if you give the ball to Luke Cornett at the top of the key, he's not a threat to shoot from that range. So Robert Williams can sack off of him. And most likely there is going to be a handoff. So it's probably going to be Devin Vassell getting the handoff in this situation. Or Fox is going to try to misdirect and go back to the handoff, but Toumani's a good defender. He's going to be aware of that. So let's see what happens. Yeah, so now it's Devin Vassell. I mean, if I can read it, the Blazers are going to be able to read it. So this is an easy switch. Look, Denny's just telling Toumani to switch this so he can be the one guarding Devin Vassell off this handoff. It's just not smart offense. Like, now you have the ball in the hands of Luke Cornett at the top of the key with 5 seconds left. This is horrible offense for the Spurs. And it's really hard to get what you want on offense when you have guys like Toumani Camara and Drew Holiday guarding your two best perimeter players at all times. So let's see what Luke Cornett's able to do. Now he's going to give this ball to De'Aaron Fox with just under 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Denny's going to go over this. Robert Williams again in drop coverage. Fox is going to go up with a floater. I think that's the best thing he can do in that situation. Actually, not that bad of a look. Portland can't get the defensive rebound again. Shot clock resets to 14. Hopefully, the Spurs can get a better offensive possession. This time around, the ball is going to maybe go over to Stephon Castle on the opposite wing. Now we're going to try to go to an on-ball screen. Stephon Castle goes around it. Holiday, I believe, goes over that. Yeah, it's going to go over that. Robert Williams again in drop coverage. And especially against Stephon Castle, drop coverage is the best defense to play because he's not a threat to really score in the mid-range. Creates some type of separation on Drew Holiday off of the step back. He could try to thread this needle into Luke Cornett because it looks like Robert Williams is stepping up. But there's only 3.5 seconds left on the shot clock, so I don't even know if Stephon Castle's really thinking about that right now. He's just going to get a shot up. Air balls Luke Cornett the offensive rebound, but it's just not going to be in time. It's going to be a shot clock violation. Spurs offense looks really ugly right now, and this is not a good sign if Wemby is going to be out for an extended period of time, because it's a very real possibility Wemby could miss a couple games, even a few games in this series. So now for Portland, we have Toumani setting an on-ball screen for Denny Avdia. Champagnie going to switch onto this. Now we're going to go to a pick-and-roll action between Robert Williams and Denny Avdia. Champagnie going to go over this. Luke Cornett in drop coverage. Denny's got Champagnie on his hip. It's just going to bring him down. This could be a lob to Robert Williams. You have both Luke Cornett and Julian Champagnie fully committing to you. Denny doesn't make that read. However, Devin Vassell feels like he needs to help the helper because they are both kind of doubling Wemby in this position. So I don't fault Vassell at all for feeling like he needs to help the helper and cover Robert Williams. But Drew Holiday realizes this, and he's going to relocate to the top of the key, force Vassell to make a decision. The pass is just a tad bit late. Holiday is going to try to drive to the basket. Now Cornett needs to step up to help, but now we have no one that can help on Robert Williams. So this is, get Cornett to step up. If he doesn't, you can go up with it. And if he does, just bounce past this to Robert Williams, and then he can dunk this. So right here, I feel like Cornett's actually doing a decent job. He's still trying to contest a Drew Holiday shot, but he's trying to stick a hand on Robert Williams too. But I feel like this is a situation where Drew Holiday should be going up with his left hand. If he goes up with his right, Devin Vassell may be able to get a hand on the ball because he's contesting this with his right arm. But if you go up with your left, no one's really going to be able to contest that type of shot. Instead, Drew Holiday kind of just doesn't really get off anything. Maybe he draws a foul because Devin Vassell is in the air. No foul gets called. Really good rim protection right there by Luke Cornett. And now we will have Spurs possession with a little under 40 seconds left in the game. You could go for a 2-for-1 here. That's definitely a possibility. Devin Vassell is going to give this ball to De'Aaron Fox, and it almost results in a turnover. Scoot Henderson's going to get a hand on this ball, but Fox is able to recover. And now, because we have Scoot Henderson trailing the play, he gambled a little bit there. Fox can attack. Holiday has to step up to help. Pass to Devin Vassell, catch and shoot three. Perfect play. Just doesn't get it to go. Can't capitalize off of the mistake of the Portland Trailblazers. And now, if you are the Portland Trailblazers, you have to make a decision. Looks like there is about a 7-second difference between the shot clock and game clock, and you have 2 timeouts. So you do not need to foul at all here. Just play good defense, get the defensive rebound, call timeout, and then you'll have about 6 seconds with the ball at half court, down by 1. Just play it like that. Don't give them 2 free points at the line. Just play defense, don't foul. So we got Castle going to pick up Denny Avdia. On-ball screen set by Scoot Henderson. Denny might want the switch to get Julian Champagnie on him. Now, I've never really thought of Julian Champagnie as a poor defender, and honestly, I don't know how good of a defender he truly is, but I can understand when you have, guys like Castle on Denny here. Like, Denny's going to want Champagnie on him way more than Castle. Castle's just such a good perimeter defender, but Champagnie playing really good defense there. Denny going to use a nice move to get to the rim. Cornette's going to have to step up to help, and Vassell, again, helping the helper here on Robert Williams. This could be a pass to Robert Williams, or this could be a pass to Toumani Camara in the corner for a catch-and-shoot 3. And Denny kind of hesitates a little bit there. I think he's a little unsure of what decision he wants to make. I don't know if he's throwing this floater up. I don't know if he's throwing this lob up. Robert Williams just going to get an amazing lob to go down. It's a very impressive catch and dunk there by Robert Williams. Gets the foul call. Pretty much the worst thing that the Spurs could have allowed other than a 3. I forgot to mention that obviously you can't allow the Trailblazers to get off a good look at 3 because you can't be down 2 possessions. And then the next worst thing that can happen is an and 1, and they convert the free throw. Good thing is I don't think Robert Williams is really a good free throw shooter at all. He's going to miss the free throw. Now we have Devin Vassell get the rebound, and Spurs call a timeout. So you can definitely get a good look off in 11.4 seconds at 3, especially off of a timeout where I'm sure Mitch Johnson is trying to call one of his better plays for this kind of moment. So we have Luke Cornette setting an off-ball screen for De'Aaron Fox, who might want to come off and flash to the ball. And I think Robert Williams, the Blazers don't want to switch this. They don't want Robert Williams to be guarding De'Aaron Fox in this situation. So Toumani's going to stay on Fox. Castle's going to pass this to Vassell. Jrue Holiday doing a really good job pressuring the ball. He's going to foul. I really don't agree with that decision. I think you need to let way more time go off the clock. I just think 10.4 seconds is a little too much time to allow the Spurs to maybe get back into this game. Vassell's a pretty good free throw shooter. I'd much rather the Trailblazers get the Spurs down to 5 seconds, just play really good defense, and then if you're at 5 seconds, you can foul up 3. I just don't like that they're leaving more time on the clock than I think they should. I think, they just fouled way too early there for my liking. Portland's going to sub back in Donovan Clingan into the game. Unsure of why Thiago Splitter went with Robert Williams over Clingan in this late fourth quarter. Obviously, Clingan didn't foul out. He's still in the game. But Robert Williams has been playing pretty good here, so they're going to go sub Clingan in. I don't know who he came in for. Maybe it was Denny. Maybe it was Scoot. Scoot's on the bench now. Obviously, to get more rebounding on the floor. And I feel like if you're the Spurs, you kind of have to match that. You want to try to get the offensive rebound in case Devin Vassell misses this. And by not matching, you have Cornette on Clingan, so that's big on big, but you have a forward against the center, Carter Bryant on Robert Williams. Like, that can be Kelly Olynyk instead of Carter Bryant. But Devin Vassell's most likely going to make this free throw anyway, so it's really not going to matter. Portland's going to call one of their last 2 timeouts, try to protect this ball, get it in bounds, and preferably get it into the hands of one of their better free throw shooters to try and close this game. So Camara is going to give this ball. Let's see. Denny's wide open here. It's a little risky, but he could float this over the top to Jrue Holiday, which he ends up doing. Jrue Holiday just try to knock down as much time as you can off the clock. I like that I love that from Jrue Holiday. I mean, he took off, 5 seconds off the clock. Now, Toumani does get the ball. I'm not too sure how good of a free throw shooter Toumani is, but I do like that Jrue took up a lot of time off of that. Good pass by Tumani. Smart of Tumani not to go up for that layup. Tumani is going to make the first free throw. He's not the greatest free throw shooter. He's only shooting around 71% on the year, which is not great, and he's going to make 2 very clutch free throws, though. So now with only 5 seconds left in the game, or I guess the Spurs just called their final timeout. Yeah, Spurs just called their final timeout, so have to drop a pretty good play here. Let's see what it is. So now we have Keldon Johnson in the game instead of Luke Cornett, obviously just to get a better three-point shooter in the game, which is the right move. So Keldon Johnson is just going to fade to this corner here, or maybe if for whatever reason, who was that guarding him? Chris Murray, I think that's Chris Murray, were to get stuck, Keldon Johnson can just cut to the rim and then get a very quick 2, and then you can foul again, but there's only 5.2 seconds left, so he's just going to fade to this corner. And then the real action is, so yeah, Fox is just going to fade out. Champagnie is going to go to this corner here. He's going to receive an off-ball screen from Devin Vassell. Kind of looked like a ghost screen. Doesn't really look like Devin Vassell really set a screen. Now Champagnie is going to be the one who sets a screen for Devin Vassell. Blazers are all on this. Matisse Thybulle is going to switch on to Devin Vassell. Heavily contested 3. Doesn't go, and Blazers are going to win the basketball game. So I really liked what I saw out of Portland's defense, and obviously the Spurs were definitely hurting offensively with no Wemby in the rotation, but I do feel confident that Mitch Johnson will come up with a game plan that helps the Spurs even while Wemby is out. But that side of the basketball, when the Spurs are on offense and when Portland is on defense, that's going to be the most exciting thing to watch in this series, and it honestly might determine how this series plays out and how it ends.